Alright, finally doing my first video. Gonna show you guys the X Pro 250. It's pretty interesting, pretty fun bike. I'll start her up cold, let you guys know what it's like. We got our carburetor right here, gonna put her on full choke. It's kind of odd, just letting you guys know. It actually looks right here that it's fully on choke, but that's actually the off position. Middle, full choke. Got gas on. We have reserve tank as well, so we don't need to worry about running out of gas. Just gonna let that warm up. Yeah, it does that a little bit. It's kind of disappointing, but you gotta live with it. Alright, we'll turn the choke fully off. Probably not. Alright, I'm gonna get my gear on. Alright, brought her up to the house, got her all warmed up now, so here's a nice warm start. So if you want to shut it off, you can either do the kill switch or just turn the key. I just turn the key. So let's talk first about the unwrapping process slash taking it apart out of the box. It took about maybe 2 hours. I did have a friend help me out with it. Didn't really hurt that much as far as doing physical labor. It wasn't that labor intensive. The most thing I struggled with was putting the front wheel on. They have a wheel chuck. Sorry, they have like a little, not really sure what to call it, almost like a little spacer that they put on the top of the brake pad to separate them, but they didn't have one on the bottom. So it made it kind of go at an angle. So it's open on one end, but closed on the other. So the brake actually went in, but it didn't go all the way. So it started grinding on the brake pad itself and making a lot of fuss. So I just simply had to take the whole caliper off and manually press it in. No leakage, no nothing. So I didn't have any air escape or anything. Didn't have to put the rear wheel on. The only thing was we had to put the shock assembly on. We had to put the shock onto the swing arm. It was pretty darn easy. All you really need to do is just have another friend there, put something underneath here, lift the bike up a little bit. Doesn't take much. The tools they provide you with are definitely adequate, although I would recommend just using your own tools. It's a lot nicer, a lot easier. It does have a 3-point linkage, pretty nice. When you do buy the bike though, the rear shock, if you look up in here, it is at the softest possible position. So when you first get on the bike, your rear end is pretty much gonna be maxing out. So you do need to take a little bit of time and tighten that suspension up to fit your rider weight and height, whatnot. They do have a stamped out piece of metal that does actually adjust the rear fork. There are adjustments on the front fork. I'm not sure if it's rebound or anything like that. I'm not that technologically advanced with dirt bikes yet. Other than that, we had to just do all the basics, tighten the triple clamps up, put the front wheel on. You have to make sure that the spacers are correct. This spacer right here is wider than the one over here just because of the brakes. Just letting you guys know, the spoke skins I did put on afterwards. It's a silver skin. It's a silver spoke to begin with. I just simply bought them on Amazon. They were $8. So if you guys want spoke skins, you have to buy those separate. Let's see. Other than that, I think the assembly was really easy. You did have to put on the kickstand yourself. I'll go around talking about a couple of the problems I've had so far. I've been riding for about maybe 10 hours so far. When you do get done assembling the dirt bike, you do need to replace the oil. It is definitely not running oil. It is transport oil. This is your oil cap right in here. It's a really big one. It's a 15/16 socket. It's pretty easy to take off, but I would recommend tightening it up a little bit because it doesn't really seem to have the best of seals on it. That should be it. It takes anywhere from 10W40 to 10W50. It wasn't really specific. That's pretty much it. I would recommend running on 91 non-oxygenated fuel. That way there's no water, no residual water in the tank that'll just build up over time if you're not riding constantly. It's just kind of smart. Other than that, the assembly was really easy, really nice, really fun. It's definitely a heavier bike. I was not expecting it to be this big. Big rear tire, quite big front tire. That's pretty much it for assembly. You don't have to do anything like attach spark plugs, attach any of this stuff. That's all done before. Kickstand, the Kickstarter, it's okay. I've done it twice, actually getting it to run. It does lock up a little bit. I haven't found out what the problem is with that, but I just simply use electric start. It's really nice. Just simply press it for 2 to 3 seconds. Starts right up. So maybe we should get on to talking about any sort of problems or things I've done to the bike. Things I've done to the bike, spoke skins just to make it kind of look cooler. Didn't really like the silver ones. This is the same dirt bike as the street legal one. So they just have a lot of stuff, like all of the adapters and whatnot are still on the bike for if you want to make it street legal. So there was just a little thingy up here underneath the brake. See, it's like a really big pad right here. There's a little button that was originally on there that clicked a lot. It was getting annoying. I just took that off. It's really easy. All you need is a Phillips head. This is my GoPro starter / stop. This is my GoPro remote, so that's not actually on the bike. Problems I've had with the bike would probably be, first of all, there really isn't actually good instructions. It's one of those instructions that kind of goes for every single bike that X-Pro makes. So it's not really that specific. The dirt bikes even on the cover were like, I think they were KTMs. It just not even the correct bike at all. So it was kind of touch and go with assembling it. You just kind of had to guess where everything goes. It's pretty self-explanatory. It wasn't really that hard. Had to put in your own oil. It was really easy. It's a really tight cap, so I used an adjustable wrench to just take that off. Came off really nice and easy. Heat shield, not that hot. Just ran it. I'm able to touch it. It's still kind of hot, but it ain't gonna burn you, burn your clothes. I did have a pair of shorts though that were like nylon. They did melt a little bit, but nothing too bad. I think it's a 2.5 gallon tank on here, but the petcock on here, we were riding it for a good 2 hours, and every 10 to 15 minutes, it would like start conking out. It would start killing. You give it gas and it would bog down, and we had no idea what the problem was. So when you buy your dirt bike, you need to take this off right here, this little thing. This is the breather hose. You need to take that off and make sure that it's breathing, because as soon as you open this up, you would hear all the suction coming to the tank. It was creating a vacuum, so it wasn't getting any more gas. You just need to make sure that this is facing the right way. That way there's oxygen getting into the tank and not a vacuum is forming. After that happened, all my problems went away. But as far as gas goes in the actual engine, it is definitely very lean. It does not get enough gas, and sadly, the carburetor that does come with it is non-adjustable. You can adjust idle, it's really easy, but you cannot adjust your fuel to air mixture. It's kind of annoying. This is a PZ30 carburetor, but I'm gonna get I think it's called the VM22 carburetor. It's the exact same thing, bolt on head, boot on the other side, so that you can replace it, and it has an adjustable fuel to air mixture. Problems with the bike since we're here. This hose right here, I had to buy myself. The hose that came with it was kinked right up in here, right where that is. Apparently, I'm not really that technologically advanced with dirt bikes again, but my uncle was taking a look at it. This was kinked right up here, right at the start, kinked back, bending over the motor. The motor started melting the original tube, and the tube comes right around over to here, right where the intake is. So that was kinked on both sides, so there wasn't really any suction or vacuum effect in there. So I just simply had to go to my auto parts store, just get a fresh tube. It's a nice, really thick one. It's about 2 feet long. It's better to have it longer than shorter. That way it doesn't kink. It's really nice. Haven't had to do anything with the spark plug. That's all good. Right here, this is your idle screw right in there. When you get the bike, there is a black rubber cap on it. Right? Yeah, the exhaust is already cooled down. The bike cools down really quick, so it's nice. But yeah, all you need is a tiny screwdriver. You just twist that and it'll idle better. When you start it originally from the factory, it barely runs. It hardly idles, just clinging to life. So yeah, just adjust that. That's pretty much it. I was pretty scared taking it out for a spin because I thought it was running wrong. Just had a bad idle. Didn't have to put the exhaust on. That was good. You did have to take the seat off though and connect up the battery that's under here. If people request it, I can definitely take the seat off and show you guys how to do that. It's pretty easy. You did have to put on a couple of the fairings, put on these two, front one. That one's self-explanatory. Front number plate. Didn't have to do anything with this or these back two, but you did have to do these. That's pretty much it for that. I want to take this off. I would recommend you do. It kind of rubs on the tire here, but my dad wants me to be safe, so have to deal with that. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty good. No real major problems. Just simply having a problem with the fuel to air mixture makes the bike not run 100%. A lot of backfiring when you're riding. You let off the gas, giving her some gas, and you all of a sudden let off. Definitely backfires, makes a couple of nice pops. Other than that, pretty good. When you do assemble it, since I didn't really get a good manual to look at it, I didn't know anything about the clutch cable. I figured that was good. This right here is your clutch cable. It was completely loose. Oh, sorry. It was completely loose. This is the actual part it connects to. These two nuts were all the way over here, completely loose. This had a lot of play. So when I pulled this, there was no resistance. You could do it like this and it would go all the way. But now, comes back, flicks. These do fold up. That one comes back. This one doesn't though. Oh yeah, it does. Never mind. I guess I don't know everything about my dirt bike. When I put the thing in here to put your key in, it says to have the key port on this side right here. But as you can see, we have that. And even right now, if you look in there, the key, like the wiring is bent at 90 degrees. And that's on the triple clamp. This didn't fit at all on here. So that was very frustrating. We didn't really know what to do. So we just kind of went on our own, did our own little thing. Don't have to do anything with the brakes. Those are good. The brakes are definitely good. Kind of soft in front. I didn't really get any skidding, so it's not really getting the best grip, but it definitely does the job. It's better than putting your foot on the ground and hoping to God that you're not just gonna die. Rear brake, it's pretty easy. Haven't really used it that much. Still kind of learning how to wheelie and do that. I'll kind of show you guys a little bit of wheeling, but I'm not good at it. Don't judge. Yeah, I think that's it. It gets dirty easily, but that's kind of a given with a bike like this. You do not have to adjust you don't have to adjust this. The chain is already pretty tight, although I think I might adjust it a little bit. It looks pretty loose. It does have a chain adjuster. It's definitely nice. Other than that, this definitely did come loose. The shift lever came loose. It was sliding around on there. It didn't come off, but it was sliding. You definitely have to tighten it up a little bit. The stock Allen wrenches do not really do the job that good. Another thing I had to replace, kickstand spring. The original one is very, very brittle. Your foot, here, when I get on and kind of show you what I'm talking about, when you kick this up, that's right where your foot is. It sticks out right on your foot. So your foot is constantly hitting that spring, and it just simply broke the spring on both places, right here and right here. Frustrating. My dad got a new spring though. She should be good. When you do put the spring on, definitely make sure that the long side, it's kind of like a nice hook. The long side goes into this nice little groove, and you have to take like a screwdriver, loop it through on the end, and pull it all the way down underneath, and then let go. Other than that, yeah, I think we are good. Fuel definitely does not suck fuel. It's quite fuel efficient, even though the dirt bike runs really lean. I haven't ran out of gas yet, haven't had to use a reserve tank. Other than that, yeah, pretty good. We did, although, no, we didn't. I don't think I've had any other problems with it. Battery has been immaculate, good startup every time, crisp. I definitely do like the look of the back. It's a very real looking dirt bike. You're not getting skimped. I mean, it's a $2,000 dirt bike. You get what you pay for. But honestly, for a first time rider, I'm 6'2", 17 years old. This is an amazing bike. It gets shipped directly to your house in a big semi. Just really nice, great, and it's Chinese, so all the parts are really cheap. You look online, a new head for the piston, a new piston head, maybe 20 bucks, maybe. It's definitely a very easy engine to get. It's just the basic Zhongshan 223 engine. It isn't a 250, it's actually a 223, but we're just gonna call it a 250. Keep ourselves happy. I haven't put a new number plate. I haven't put a number on here. I don't think I will. I'm just gonna have people sign it as they ride it. You definitely need to break it in though. It's a good rule of thumb. Never be giving it a crap ton of throttle. Never be giving it quick throttle response for the first 15 minutes. Just start it up, idle. If it doesn't really idle that good, just give it a little bit of gas to kind of help it kind of ease on. And after about 15 minutes of it running, you should be good to go. When actually riding for the first maybe 10 hours of breaking the bike in, I will say it's just smart. It's a good rule of thumb to never keep on the gas at the same speed or the same RPM range for more than 30 seconds. If you're staying on the idle for more than 30 seconds, just kind of either give it a little blip of the throttle or let off of the throttle for a little bit and go back up. That way, the rings and the piston itself are wearing in good, they're wearing in evenly, and there's no sort of oil or gas leak thus losing pressure, not getting compression, whatnot, which just is overall bad for the engine. Also, I do apologize for the background. This is my grandpa's workshop shed, so it's a little bit dirty, but it's the only place that isn't windy. It's a little bit windy outside, so the dirt bike, when you get it, comes with gloves, these really crappy foam hand grips. Just throw those away, they're crap. And a pair of goggles, they're on the helmet. The gloves are definitely cheap, but they're comfortable. They're made of really cheap fabric. I burnt them on the muffler almost instantly. Personal mistake, doesn't mean you guys will do it. I just figured I'd give you guys a comparison of what I look like and how big the bike is. I'm a 6'2", 17-year-old, and it is definitely a nice bike. I can flat foot it. Anybody smaller might have to tiptoe a little bit. It is a regular shift on a bike. 1 down, 4 up. It's a 5-speed transmission, just like it says on the website. So let's take her out for a spin.